You have selected Microsoft David as the default voice.
Hey, testing. Is this on? Can you hear me? Okay, let's test this again and see if it works. I'm trying to hear myself, which I can't. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Hey,
Paste or something, you know.
I don't
Yep.
think this is gonna work. I can't
Whoa,
figure out how to
whoa,
get
whoa.
audio to it.
Oh, I
Proceed
can hear myself
with
in the
caution,
live
it
stream now.
says.
Nice.
Hey, I can hear us over the live stream.
Nice.
Holy crap, I gotta mute the live stream because I can hear us over the live stream.
Nice.
Holy crap, I gotta mute the live stream because
All right. Hey, how's it going?
drone. There it is. Okay, I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start listening into the.
Okay, so
audio
now I'm
stream
going to
again.
have Zencaster. Okay, how do I...
Yeah. Okay. Yep. It's all working. I'm muting it again because that is really freaking weird. It's like a 3-second delay. Hello. Hello. Yeah. There. You there, Roland?
Yes. I just realized how many frames you have in Dwarf Fortress.
And
What the hell?
Okay, so we won't have duplicate audio or anything?
It doesn't really matter because we're gonna change the way we do the what we do with the live stream afterward. So the live stream is going to end up being live stream only, and then I will post not the raw but an edited. Basically, I'll end up later posting the episode itself.
You know what I was doing? I was
YouTube?
messing myself up. I had the window of the YouTube video that was streaming in here, so there was just enough of a delay that when I was talking, it would then start playing it back to me anyway. So I think it's taken care of. Is everything working?
I believe so.
Are we all? Okay, cool.
Hey, Gwillem, out there in YouTube land, can you hear everyone now? We'll see what
And
kind
then
of delay it comes back on.
This is the I'm going to kill this fortress here. I don't know what was happening here, so I'm going to. It looks like something exciting was happening.
Hey, Gwillem says it's all good. So yeah, we're good. So, and I'm going to now. So Roland, could you monitor? Look over at the chat window every once in a while on YouTube and relay those, because I'm going to go ahead and minimize my my YouTube live stream. Actually, I'm going to just go ahead and close that for now. I'm going to post that to Patreon, and then we can get underway. But that way, I can pay attention to the Zencaster recording, make sure it's healthy. And Tony's streaming, and it's so much better than mine was. And Roland's paying attention to the questions. I think we all have a job.
And I think everything's
Nice.
in an okay. Is it looking okay?
It looks great to me.
Okay, cool, good. You guys can see everything now. You can see the menus and stuff, and the FPS and all that stuff is there. Cool. Okay, so the other question I have is, I had started this. This is, you remember that insanely difficult the Dead Walk world that I had?
Yeah.
I pulled that up because I like pain, I guess. And this is something I was doing there. It doesn't look very far along at all. It doesn't look like I've done too much here. I mean, should we just start from scratch and just get rid of this one and try
No,
again?
go ahead, just leave it. It's
Because
fine.
I have absolutely no idea. I mean, not much. has
I
happened
still
here.
haven't actually publicly posted the. And like I said, I'm not going to post it publicly. I'm going to post it to Patreon, and
Oh, there is a little fortress here. I mean, I can blow it away if you want. We can start and choose our own ideal starting area and that sort of thing.
what the heck? Where am I? Where are my posts? There it is. Okay. It's up to you. I'm going to try not to watch your fortress too much, because then I won't be paying attention to what the podcast.
What? Attention span? What is that?
I don't know. I don't have one.
I have no idea what was happening here. It looks like I've done a lot. It looks like a lot of earthworks have happened, because it seems like I've cut a big trench around things here.
All right, gonna go here.
And I've built
It
a
looks
wall.
interesting, yeah.
And there's a depot, and there are a number of people that live in this fortress.
Okay. So, did you see the bits that I posted to the Podcast Insight channel?
I did.
Cool. So I do want to talk about the the renaming of the Mason's Workshop and what that might mean to us.
To the stonemasons from The Simpsons.
Stone was it stonemasons, stonecrafters?
No,
Stoneworker?
stonecutters. Didn't he call it stonecutter? Oh, I thought he called it stonecutter.
Well, we will look closely.
Well, I wouldn't know. I watched it in German.
Did they provide a German translation there?
Die Stonecutter.
For like The Simpsons? Well, the entire Simpsons is in German.
No. Not talking about The Simpsons. I'm talking about the actual Dwarf Fortress has renamed the Mason's Workshop.
Yeah.
So that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
I've never seen that Simpsons episode that you.
Oh, it's one
posted.
of the classics of the early episodes. You know.
Oh, that I probably have seen it. I just don't remember it. So, but
yeah.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and give the starting spiel if you guys are cool with that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't really have any. Before that, I don't really have any business to take care of, except for the fact that I have been working pretty much nonstop for the last 2 weeks, and I've had too little sleep, and I have not even touched on contacting the people who we're going to be having on. So that will have to probably be postponed, and I'll send out emails to them, but it'll have to be postponed for another week or two while everything calms down at my workplace, because I just don't have the time to arrange things at the moment. So
that's okay.
It is what it is. I'll be lucky if I can edit this and get it out on time. Okay. Roland, could you turn your mic down no, never mind. I'll fix it in post. It's good enough.
Yeah,
okay.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure. If anything, I need to be louder, probably, but if I go too much louder, my microphone ends up clipping, and I don't want to do that. So I'll just have to deal with being a little bit quieter than you guys. Okay, here we go. Welcome to Dwarf Fortress Roundtable, the podcast for all things Dwarfy. I'm Jonathan.
I'm Roland.
I'm Tony.
And we are back for another episode to talk about Dwarf Fortress. Yay!
Let's do it.
So it is just after the start of October, and we were talking about this off air a moment ago, but I found it very interesting that we are getting a change of the name of the Mason's Workshop. It is going to be...
is it Stoneworker or Stonecutter? I really hope it's Stonecutter.
I think that it is the Stoneworker's Workshop, and the person who does it is a stonecutter.
All right, that's what I'm talking about. The
I
Simpsons.
see.
Which episode was that?
So fill me in.
Tarn's a
Fill me in
Simpsons
on this
fan.
reference of The Simpsons, because I haven't seen an episode of The Simpsons in probably 10 years.
So I just looked it up. The episode is called Homer the Great, and it's season 6, episode 12. So still within the good zone of Simpsons episodes. What is that, like season 8, season 1 to season 8 or something like that? And the premise is Homer. I think it's kind of like a playing on the idea of the Masons, and then Homer gets to join them, and it's classic Simpsons. There's a song about the stonecutters and what they do, and anyway, well worth checking out, and I really hope that Tarn and Zach are throwing in this classic Simpsons reference.
Okay, so this is from the Bay 12 forums, the Future of the Fortress update for October. The question is, the new video of Zach playing a desert fort has a stoneworker's workshop, seemingly, instead of a mason's workshop. And he's asking, what's the deal with that? And then Tarn responds with, we redid all the stone jobs and names. The whole mason thing has been bothering me for years and years. He likes it better now. So there are now stone cutters, stone carvers, engravers, and masons. Stoneworker is the skill group word, like woodcutter or crafts dwarf. So it made the most sense for the shop to be the stoneworker shop. So it could almost be called the stone carver's shop, but then the engraving for slabs would have to be done over at the crafts. So he's also going to be mixing up who gets to do what jobs, because some things that are done in the Stonecraft, the craft store shop, there's overlap with Mason. So, see, it says Mason's going to just be used for stone building and placement. Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense because masonry is not sculpture.
Yeah, it's making the walls, isn't it? That's the way I'd always thought of it. In my mind, it was the people who built the actual walls and put the bricks together and the cement between it and all that kind of jazz.
So I'll put a link to in the show notes to the Future of the Fortress. It's also linked from the Bay 12 Games site for this month's update.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's going to be kind of neat. I have found that I end up using. Let me rephrase that. I agree that I have looked at the Crafts Dwarfs shop and some of the jobs that they do and go, well, geez, that should be over there in the Mason shop because it's utilitarian. This isn't a craft job. Making a slab isn't necessarily who makes the slab?
The Mason workshop makes the slab.
And then the Craft Dwarf carves it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that does make sense.
I was going to just look in this fort that I have going right here, which I don't know if I'd built anything. I think I started this one that we're looking at here eons ago, and I don't know how far I got. Looks like, there's a slab. Alt S, Mason's workshop.
Okay, I'm going to have to, it looks like, bring up the live stream again so I can see what you're talking about.
We also got a question. Do we think this will separate wall smoothing and wall engraving? But I really doubt it because it's like deeper down the road of raws,
It's not going to, I don't think it's going to separate smoothing out. I think that smoothers and engravers, well, no, take that back. I take that back. This is a quote from Tarn Adams. Let me put the echo in the God voice here. Stone cutters do the fortifications and smoothing, while the engravers still engrave walls and floors. So those are going to be specialized things now, because right now the engravers both do the smoothing and the engraving of the walls and floors, right?
I see. So we get some wall smoother dwarfs and some engraver dwarfs. Interesting.
That will subtly change my strategy. It will certainly change Clino Dev's Crafts Dwarf embark profile, because
I'll tell you what, I used that one after either it was our last recording or maybe a conversation we'd had on the Discord. Fired into that one all ready to go, and rarely have I died faster in a Dwarf Fortress scenario than that one. So I guess there's some more research that needs to be done.
You're like, won't be doing that again.
Well, they're all dead. Okay. So I'm sure there's a strategy there that can be used, because Clino Devin's not mean. So he doesn't strike me as cruel. So there's something I'm not getting. So
I've had 3 fortresses now that I've used Clino Dev's embark profile, the Crafts Dwarf embark profile, or Crafts Lords, I guess it is. Embark profile, and 2 of them have ended in 2 years.
All right, well done.
Going. But the reason they ended in 2 years has nothing to do with the embark profile. That part was going really well. I'm very happy with that. The reason that they ended in 2 years is with like 30 dwarves in my fortress before 2 years is up. I keep getting invasions of undead.
That'll do it.
I see. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so
I feel you here in this particular world that I've loaded up.
So I'm wondering if this is an issue with the world. It's a 250-year-old world to start with, and I have started my 3 embarks in 3 very widely spaced locations on the map. It is a small map. It's not a pocket, but it is a small map. So that may have something to do with it. But
there's something about that where you can have these scenarios where the undead get just a bit too powerful, and then end up wiping everyone else out. And then all you have is basically just undeads everywhere. See the YouTube live stream right now for such things if you want.
Let's see if I can get back. There it is. There it is.
That's a lot of purple. Also, can we really quick talk about the dumb amounts of frames that you have in your game?
Well, look, it all starts to go to crap when you unpause it and it starts doing stuff. See? Well, actually, the FPS is still pretty good here. I have my frame rate uncapped, and then I have GPU frame rate or whatever, the graphics frame rate uncapped as well. So you can see here, I'm still 120, 130, but with just a few people in the fort. So it's all fun and games now still.
So jealous. So jealous.
Look, this guy's called the Holy Luxury. Isn't that great? I guess I built. Yeah, it looks like I built chapels and stuff for them already. Yeah, look, there's a temple here. I don't know what I was doing with this one. Looks like it was older than I thought it would be. But the reason the year is so far advanced in this particular game, 14th of Galena, 1039, is because I've just died so much, and I just keep letting it go forward. I think this whole world started at like 975 or something, and so there's just been a lot of death.
Hey, I got a question for you guys. So, I said that this is my first 2 fortresses have died from undead invasions. Well, I'm on my 3rd fortress in this world, and I had, during the beginning of year 2, I had the announcement again saying, everybody get away, the dead walk. Mm-hmm. And I thought, well, great, it's happening again. I'm going to toast this world. But then they never showed up.
Yes, I've had that.
So it said the dead walk. It pulled me to the location where they supposedly were coming onto the screen, but they didn't show up. So I'm taking that as a forewarning, and I scrambled together about half my population of 40-something to be squads. And I remember to hook up my bridge to my lever this time. But have you folks seen that before?
Oh yes.
Yes.
It can happen if an army is on the march and is just walking through your territory without actually wanting to attack you. So you still get the type message of like, oh shit, an army is coming. Be careful, but the army is in fact waging war on somebody completely different than you.
Oh.
I've also seen it where I have
I think the stream just died.
Did it?
For me,
Nope.
at least. What the hell?
Nope. It looks good to me.
I've seen that particular thing, Roland, where it ends up basically just being one necromancer or 2 necromancers just coming through, and for whatever reason they haven't brought their squad with them.
Yeah. It can also happen with like goblin armies or human armies, but I had it happen a few versions even back with the goblin army already. So this is not really a new thing.
It'll be interesting to see what the trade or the Mountain Homes liaison has to add to the world history whenever they come next time. It'll be interesting to see if there's been any activity near me. I don't like the idea of being, Belgium between Germany and France.
You'll have the great chocolate though, and the beer, so that's important.
Who's going to enjoy it if everybody's zombies?
Well, everyone can enjoy Belgian beer, zombie or not. I feel like we can all come together on that.
I hope I have my historical reference right. It was Belgium that was the waypoint between Germany and France in World War II, right?
This particular sprite for Vetlinger is really funny, by the way. I don't know if you can see it.
Also, do not ask me historical questions.
Okay.
Oh, big nose.
He has a big nose, and I don't know what's happening off of his sides here.
Does he have antlers?
He's got an antler helmet, man.
He's the holy luxury. Yeah, he's the holy luxury, and he's
pretty cool.
Schlepping beds around. That's fine. Whatever keeps him busy. Everybody's got to sleep. I'm just going to kind of leave this going, and we'll see if the dead walk. I'm sure that they will at some point.
Okay, what other news has happened since we last got together?
I believe that we've had another release of the Lazy Noob Pack with some new stuff in it, but I'm not sure what the new stuff is.
That's true.
Paradexis Errant's
Yep.
Starter Pack. What was it? So it's up to release 6 now?
Let me have a look, and I only want us to have the freshest information here.
Because we talked about 5 coming out.
Yeah.
This is 5 is what's out now.
5 is what's out. All right. Well, I'm still catching up here in this game, you see. I didn't really know what was different there. It looked like it.
It was the one that has we talked about the world speed increase with DF hack.
Oh, right. I thought there was a newer one than that even. Okay. All right. Nope. I see.
Maybe there is. Maybe I'm just missing it.
It says last updated September 5th, so I don't think you are. I think I just have a funny time dilation situation going on. Oh, look, a caravan has arrived. That's exciting. We haven't had one of those for a long time in this world. So have you guys had a chance to play any of this here video game?
I sat down last night and played, and like I said, that was my second fortress, and it got toasted by undead, and then I started a third fortress in this world. So other than that, no, I haven't played.
Right. How about you, Roland?
Work things have been happening. So
well, I managed to only play very little myself. But I did manage to get somebody to listen to us and to download the game. Hey, so I have to explain to them how this game works.
6 listeners now.
Yes. And so far, it's working pretty well. But it's such a throwback to like the start, I'm like, you need cups. You need goblets. Your dwarves are drinking with their bare hands. And she's like, how do I do that? And I'm like, right, okay. Now let me explain that to you.
www.dwarffortresswiki.org.
Basically. But she is also straight up refusing most of the tutorials on the internet. So, that's not helping.
Well, I do get that. I do think that I liked the Dwarf Fortress Wiki Quick Start tutorial for learning better than the ones on the internet. So I think that I'm, a go by the book, follow along with a book kind of learner. So maybe she's like that too.
I suppose. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I myself sat down without any tutorials and learned it. It just took like 3 years. So it's doable.
Of course, if she's just refusing to do any tutorials and trying to get it just from the game interface and using the built-in help, then
that's not going to go
I feel bad
well
for her.
Yeah.
It's it can be a little overwhelming. I know we've talked about this before, but I found the Paradexis Errant tutorial to be just great. It kind of giving me enough confidence to get moving and get going. And I think Paradexis said that was even an iteration of something they'd found earlier. So, but I found that one really straightforward because there's a save game attached to it, and so it's like, do this, okay, and then do this, okay. So there's a certain amount of predictability that can go with it as you're learning. I found that kind of helpful, and then that's the last time I ever touched a tutorial or looked at anything really other than the stuff that Paranoid Metroid has put out. And Dastastic I found pretty useful too for tutorials. But yeah, I don't know if I could learn just using the wiki. I think I'd be inundated or overwhelmed.
And yeah, I don't. Well, let me start that over. There is the quick start, and it is a step-by-step. Hit this button,
Okay.
make a rectangle with these buttons and hit enter. So that one is an exact step-by-step, and it gets you through far enough to where it feels, and I agree, that you can basically sustain a basic fort for a season or two. And then you just start using the wiki as a reference. I still use the wiki as a reference every day.
Yeah.
No, of course. The wiki is great. Even just for going on the wiki and clicking on random page for like 3 hours a day because you have nothing else to do. Never happened to me though, but it's great fun.
Must be nice.
So I'm kind of looking at this old world that we're streaming, and what I've noticed is, unlike every other iteration that I've played in this particular world, which I'm going to pull up right now, where I get no migrants and usually teeming hordes of undead, for some reason this one I'm getting lots of migrants. It almost is feeling like a bit of a refugee fort. I don't know if that's something you guys have ever seen.
What's your population?
Before.
I don't see that on your screen.
So it's now up to 55, and I think it was 42 when we started, and we just got a big migrant wave.
Yeah, that's one thing that I found annoying about this world that I'm in now. Before, and I don't know if this is still valid from the game itself, but I would never get a Goblin Siege until I had, I think it was 60 dwarves. So that was like the trigger. At 60 dwarves, you can get a Goblin Siege. Well, these undead really just don't care about any of that.
Right. They don't care. Yeah, I think that's a safe way to put it. I've never seen a Goblin Siege in any world in any of these worlds that I've built in this one. I don't even know if there are goblins still alive. I think the undead might have killed them all, because usually it's just 10,000 undead come in and I'm done. Either FPS.
Oh yeah, this is an old
otherwise.
world. It's 1039. Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay.
So look, we've got an alliance with the humans here. That's cool. But where are the goblins in this world? I think they're all dead. Oh, fair enough. That's a pretty cool thing that happened. Think of that one. Maybe we should go check this place out.
Okay, the danger of live streaming playing a game while you're trying to do an audio podcast.
You get sucked into your live stream and then your content's not very good. Yeah, no, totally get that.
I'll try to cut out all the stuff that requires you looking at the screen to
fair point.
Understand.
Fair point. I said I think that's a really fair point. Yeah, I was kind of thinking also just sort of using this as a reference for things that I don't quite understand. But one thing that I don't get, and maybe we talked about this last time, was I still don't really get the ascending and descending levels in your fort with ramps. That seems to be a really popular way of doing it. I end up with just trapdoors, and so I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong here or what I should be doing differently. I've had lots of luck with stairwells, but not so much with ramps.
Well, if I could stream, I would show you how I do it.
Uh-huh.
But obviously I have trouble streaming. I don't know whether I don't think it's my internet. I'm beginning to think it's the Ethernet adapter that I have on my PFSense router, but that's what I use to terminate my WAN.
There also is a lot to say for having bidirectional gigabit when you're streaming something. Definitely eliminates some of those hiccups and hurdles.
Yeah, you fancy people with the high technology, y'all.
I know, it's weird. It's still very new to us.
I'm back here in the Stone Ages.
Okay, so what I hear is next podcast episode will be just a tutorial on how to do RAMs, apparently. Okay, because I do ramps everywhere.
Okay, so
that's
tell
Paranoid
me.
Metroid's job. He needs to do the tutorial on making ramps.
Yes. He can probably even explain it better than I do. But
So do you have to
I
do
do
an
ramps
up and a
everywhere.
down? Okay.
No.
No,
What you do, Tony, is make a 3x5. Sorry, like say make a 3x6 rectangle, and the left half of that channel. Then go down a level, make another 3x3 rectangle that's attached to that, and channel it. Then go down another level and make a 3x3 rectangle that's attached to that, and channel it. So
you're just channeling, basically.
it is. It's just channeling.
Okay, you're not having to carve up ramps. Okay, I think I've done something where I've gotten people trapped before.
Yeah, that usually happens if you do the channeling on the same spot as before. You have to hop one spot further every single time so that it becomes like a stairway that is very, very large. You know, like one level here, down, next level, one further, down. So that you always have the ramp and one spot where the ramp is like ejecting to. So because the ramp is kind of weird, you know, it's this little triangle, and the thing is the ramp goes in the very direction of the next wall. So if on the side where the triangle is free and has no wall next to it, then there is no ramp, and the ramp goes away from that very block.
I see.
You get my meaning.
And what you do is each level, if you want to have a really tight spiral ramp set, every level down, you alter your next direction of your new 3x3 squares. You alter it 90 degrees from the level above it. So it's basically doubling around under itself.
I see. Okay.
So every fourth level, you will be on the same set of squares that you did 4 levels above.
Okay. I thought I had done that. I think I have more practice to do here, I think. And that's the joy of the game.
I see all kinds of miasma coming out of your stairwell there. That's nice.
It's a stinky stairwell, yeah.
I think there were some crundles that got a little out of hand and needed to be tamed. I don't know. What do you guys do with crundles? I just kill them. Very much kill on sight.
Well, you know, I don't want to say the F word here, but I might have a slight interest in putting out massive amounts of eggs in my fortresses because it's like free food out of nowhere. Wait, do crundles even lay eggs, or am I getting mixing them up?
They do lay eggs. I only found that out because I watched what's his name's videos on this, and he was talking about that they lay lots of eggs. So that was
good.
Oh.
For a second, I was like, "Wait, am I insane?" But
no, you are sane.
Yeah, the egg laying. Thanks, brain. Okay, so these egg laying creatures, they don't really give that much meat. So for meat production, they're rather useless. I mean, they give like 2 to 6 meat, which is, I mean, it's something, but it's not really what you're really interested in. However, they can lay between 5 and 20 eggs. And that is amazing. So if you manage to get some in a cage trap, you can tame them, you can put them in a room, and you can start producing eggs like crazy. And the same thing also works with like cave alligators, because they also lay a lot of eggs, but
they're very bitey. The cave alligators get very bitey, but the crundles less so. Everyone freaks out about crundles, but they don't bite, do they? They just annoy.
They're also really small. They're like what? The size of a large dog. So they're not really terrifying. I mean, they can scratch your dwarfs, they can bite a little bit, but they're no danger to your dwarfs, really. Unless
they come
in large groups.
Yeah.
Are they reptilian? I never thought of a crundle as being reptilian.
I think they're Actually, I always thought they're like amphibians.
That's fine.
But do? I don't know.
I don't. I always thought them as being humanoid, and of course, humanoid does not in this universe rule out being amphibian or reptile. But yeah, I always thought of them as more like tiny kobolds. Well, wait, kobolds are kind of reptilian though, so yeah.
Yeah,
maybe
I
they
think
are.
so. Yeah, and they're supposed to be like remnants of kobold, huh? Do you guys ever have merchants that come and then just get stuck?
I have them
And don't
avoid
move?
me. I have them show
You've
up
had
and
them
then
avoid
gripe
you?
because they can't pull their trailer in, so they just have a few people come up and squat on my trade depot.
So I have some that they just complain, or they're just stuck. I don't know why they're stuck. I don't know
Oh,
what's
hey.
happening.
My latest fortress after it was built after we had our last show, and I am now trying out your method, Tony, of taking a hole straight down, putting the trade depot right beside it, then building a wall around it. So it seems to be working out pretty well so far. And I did hook up my lever to my drawbridge this time.
Oh, see, that's good. I tend to forget that until the siege comes, and then I go, oh.
And hey, Paranoid Metroid, if you are taking requests, here's a micro tutorial to talk about 2-level walls, because I still can't figure the stinking things out. The only way that I've figured out how to build a 2-story high wall is to put it up against a hill slope so that I can walk onto the second level from the first level.
Oh, you build ladders.
I've got ladders.
I mean, you build stairways, rather. So you have to build. So the way I do this is I go up to the wall that I've built, and then I build. You can, I guess, build an up-down staircase. I've done that, and then you go up 1 Z layer, and then you build another up-down staircase on top of the one that's right below the one you just built, and then it'll let you build on top of your wall.
Can you build an up-down staircase? I mean, I know you can carve an up-down staircase with D, and you can designate an up-down staircase in an existing rock. But can you build an up-down staircase out of in a tile like you can an up staircase?
Yeah, I think it's B capital C capital X that does that. If I'm not mistaken. Let's see.
Okay, well, I will try it again because I want to have my I want to build my wall at least 3 or 4 high, just because I want to do that. This is purely aesthetics. It's just in my head because I don't have to do this. But my bridge is 4 tiles long, right? It's 3 wide by 4 long, and whenever I lift the drawbridge, I want to have the drawbridge to come up and not slam into a wall. I know that there's in the game that doesn't matter, right? Am I making sense at all?
I mean, I think I know what you're saying, but I don't know why you're saying it.
My bridge is 4 tiles long.
Yeah.
If I lift it up, then in real world, it should slam into whatever is 1 Z level above it.
Right,
Yes.
like smash it. So if you had a wall above it, it should crash into that.
Right, but
you don't have to build a wall above it.
But it does. You can be in the underground cavern. You can have a drawbridge that is 20 tiles long on 1 Z level, and you can raise it just fine.
Yeah.
That shouldn't work in real life because
I found that underground, like if you dig a tunnel and you make your Z level, if you make your bridge too long, it won't come up. I've had that happen.
Really?
Yeah. So
I have not run into that.
In this streaming fort, I've just built one that's basically it's basically a 2x2 square, because anything larger than that I found wouldn't do its thing. And I only found that out one time because I got killed, which is, I guess, how you learn everything here.
Huh. That's not been my experience. I build like 3x5 bridges cutting into the side of the hill, and they seem to raise in 1 Z level just fine.
Let's do this. I'm going to try it right now. I'm curious.
Back to the live stream.
Back to the live stream. Here's a 4. Oops, that's retractable. We don't want to do that. Yeah, bridges are kind of a funny one, for sure. Yeah, I think I'm kind of wondering if there's going to be some balancing out of how powerful undead get at the end of the game. Like at the end of the game, in an old world is what I'm trying to say. I wonder if that's something that Mr. Adams will be looking into.
Well, I've got a young world, and I've not been able to beat them yet.
Yeah.
When they show up, it's pretty much game over. It's a matter of time.
Yeah, I don't have a good success rate. Like I find even a small undead siege will very quickly overwhelm my dwarves, and they don't do well.
If anybody has successfully repelled an undead siege with an army who's listening, send us an email about that. Urist at dfroundtable.com. URIST at dfroundtable.com, because I want to know if anyone has done that. And if so, I'd like some tips.
Yeah.
I mean,
awesome.
Technically, right? The breaking point is just your dwarf's ability to stay alive. Because, let's be honest, a dwarf that is clad in, let's say, iron or steel armor and has a steel mace and a shield is faring very well against a zombie horde. However, the actual breaking point is just his endurance. At some point, the dwarves will tire, they will fall to the ground, and then they easy meet. And the zombies don't tire. That's the breaking point. The zombie is not that hard to kill. They don't tend to be very fast. They're very strong, but they can't tire. So that's the problem. So if you're able to split up a undead siege into like small portions via, for example, bridges or like extra rooms, then you can kill the small portions one by one.
Okay. Well, that resource that I was asking for happens to be on the podcast right now.
All right,
Yes,
then.
hi.
Roland, welcome to
me.
Dwarf Fortress Roundtable.
Yeah, hello. Good to be here.
Well, I had no idea.
Yeah, because
that makes sense.
I started doing this when I had like a way too massive siege going on, and I was like, okay, this is not gonna go well. You know, this is like more zombies than I have everything, including animals here. So what I did was I had a long entryway into my fortress. I put my squad down so they were not close to the entrance, and then I just put the lever on repeat, so they kept slamming it open and shut, open and shut, open and shut. And sometimes the zombie would get smashed, sometimes a zombie would get through, but most of the zombies would not go through. So I always had like a very slow trickle of zombies, like 1, 2, maybe 3 zombies at once, come down, get beaten up by my dwarfs, but they don't see the next one. So they don't run to the entrance and get smashed by my own drawbridge, right? They always just saw the one, and then the next one, and then the next one, and that worked great. However, it took me like almost 2 hours. So, yeah.
Okay, so I guess preparation is the key if you want to defeat the
Yes.
zombie horde.
Yes.
So if they take you by surprise,
You're doomed.
you're in trouble.
Yes, absolutely. And the better armor you have, that's good. But I think what is actually giving you the best advantage is just specific weapon groups. So if you have one squad of maces and one squad of hammers, then you're already faring way better than if you have like one mixed squad or one squad made of axes, because that's just gonna bring it down worse, because they chop off limbs, the limbs come back, and then suddenly you have like 2 zombies, and
bludgeoning is the key.
Oh,
yes.
right, because you can't chop them because they just
Yeah.
they're unchoppable. So smashers, so silver warhammers and things like that, gold warhammers, whatever would be good. Heavy smashy
I've got
things.
everything right now is bronze that I'm making because that's what that's the ore that I brought with me. I still haven't found any good metal ore for at least with this particular fortress yet. It's a little bit over a year old. So, but yeah, I've got a bunch of bronze maces and bronze hammers, and I've got 5. And I don't have a whole squad that is dedicated to each, but I have half of the people running maces and half of the people running hammers.
Yeah, that's already something.
Makes sense. Do you guys know how to view petitions that have, like, if you go through and you accept a petition and then you forget? Because I think I do that sometimes. How do you view those? Do you know?
You can't. I'm pretty sure there is a DF hack command for it, but in the base game you can't see it, and it's really annoying.
It is.
What I do is I go to my locations and I take a look and see, like, let's say that you have a temple that they've been requested, and it has to be to a certain level. Then I will go to that, and it gives me clues as to which one I'm working on and what level it's at, because it tells you what level the temple is. And like if you go down back to Wheels of Chapel Markets. Yeah, so here it is. See that it says agreed to build temple?
Where do you do that?
Oh, you apparently there's a delay. I was thinking that the live stream was actually live to me.
Oh.
No, whenever you were looking at your locations and you scrolled through the temples, then one of them says agreed to build a temple under the Wheels Chapel.
There it is. Yep.
Yeah.
Right. Agreed to build temple. So basically, yep, done it. Now it needs, I see, gotcha. And it needs a dance floor, and then it tells you all the extra stuff it needs.
Yeah.
It needs boxes and bags and
so while it's not a history of your petitions, which would be great, that's the closest thing as far as agreements to build. It's the same thing for guild halls. You'll get the same thing for that. Temples and guild halls both will show you that at so and so level it will reach the level of guild hall or whatever.
And they get really angry when you don't complete their petitions, don't they?
Yeah. They sometimes really do. I had a man just like punch my mayor because I forgot what kind of god he was actually petitioning his temple for, because he himself prayed to 3, and I was like, oh damn, okay, which one was it? So I did not manage to make a temple for all 3, and then he went up to my mayor, was like, crunch, that's your nose gone.
And it turns out it was the Sopranos god.
San Bruno, the patron saint of kicking your butt. Yeah, that's a problem. Yeah, they I mean, we might not take it very seriously, but boy, they sure do. Yeah.
Whenever I agree to do a temple or a guild hall, because I have forgotten them in the past, now as soon as I agree to the petition, I make it happen right then.
Yeah.
And that's my sole focus until it reaches the level that they want it. And I won't agree to another petition until that happens, because they don't seem to get too mad if you just ignore the petition until it goes away.
Yep.
At least I haven't noticed any.
No, I think you're right.
That.
I think they're pretty cool cucumbers about that. They're like, hey, you know what? If you can't get to it, don't worry about it. But if you agree to it, they freak out.
Yeah, like if you never accept it, and if you never tried, they're just a bit sad. They might go into the tavern, cry a bit, like, ooh, and drink a beer, but that's usually about it. However, if you just don't manage to do it, they're like, wow, okay, you're a terrible mayor. I hate
You're
you.
a scumbag. Yeah, it suddenly turns into hatred. Yeah. Yeah, I've had some problems.
I definitely
with
like getting. I like the addition of the requested guild halls and the temples. In fact, I would have to say that is my favorite edition of the. Oh boy, what's the version of Dwarf Fortress we're on now?
47.04, right? It's hard to keep, hard to remember with all of the updates.
4705. But whenever they came out with the 47 series from whatever the old one was, back a couple years ago at the beginning of 2020.
Boy, in the before times. In the before times.
Well, wait. When did we have the Addams Brothers on? Was that at the beginning of 2020 or the beginning of 2019?
I think that it was actually just the beginning of 19. Yeah.
So for
dfroundtable.com.
0.44, and let's see, we got the first update of 47 that came out in January of 2020.
Yeah.
And then it was basically
it seems like it was so much longer than that.
Yeah. And then there was 47.05 that came out. Boy, that's weird. A year later. Did 47.05 really come a year later? Gosh.
Yeah, it was a one of the bug fix updates that wasn't that it started out after he had already started working on the Steam stuff, the graphic stuff.
That's right. It was it
was kind of a maintenance release, if you will.
That's right. A year later. Okay, after it. So we've probably got, looking at this, we've got like basically 2 years between releases.
But back to the Minecraft track that I just got way off of. My favorite feature, I think, of 47.xx series is the guild halls and the temples, because it's a nice intermediate goal that the game asks of you that gives you some direction. I really enjoy those. And I like making them fancy and looking like discotheques.
Oh, you mean with like gem windows that blink?
Yeah, and just making them really fancy and having piles and piles of trinkets along the walls on pedestals, and I don't guess that's what a discotheque looks like, but yeah. And lots of dancing. I like dancing. Although I don't guess guild halls do a whole lot of dancing. The temples sure do, though. What did you just do?
Just told him to mine out. There was a little lake here on this Z level, and I just told him to knock the wall out to see what would happen. Some people just like to watch the world burn.
And Noah Dwarf is loading up a boat.
Yeah, nothing really happened. It's these small pools of surface water, I think, act as water generators, and that's kind of what I was experimenting with here. Now that this thing's been ruptured, will it just dry up and go away, or will it continue to generate water?
So by water generator, do you mean a spring?
Yeah, that's right. I guess we do have a word in English for that. Thank you.
Well,
you're welcome.
Sadly, that it doesn't work that way. I had the same idea as you. However, they don't drain through the clay that is on the floor. But if you break it open and they flood out like that, then the drainage is suddenly way higher. Because the only way they actually do get water in this is the rainfall, and not just like a magic spring.
So for the people who are listening to the podcast but aren't watching the live stream, we're talking about the puddles that show up on the surface, and it's the pockets of
like small lakes or something.
Exactly,
like those bits of surface water that aren't streams, but aren't like just one or two dots, like a clump of actual, looks like a little pond or something. Pond.
Is that what the fishermen always call swamps? The northern swamps have no fish, etc.
Yep.
Okay. I've always wondered about that.
Hey, Tony.
Yes.
And this may end up getting cut out of the podcast, but could you go down to the wall that you had built up around your outside of your fortress and show me building a step up to start a second layer on it?
You bet. Let's do that right now.
Awesome.
Okay, so here's our. So for those not able to see the stream, what I've gone to the surface and I've built a large outdoor wall out of stone. So I'm going to build an up-down stair. Now, I found a problem with doing this because it also punches a hole in a level below. So if you're going to flood this, it will flood whatever's below it.
Could you not just do an upstair?
You probably could. I get worried that they're not going to be able to figure that out. So I build up downstairs because I always seem to figure that out. So I've made the request to build it, and this little character is schlepping it over. So now I've gone up 1Z level, and then I click where that up-down stair was, and it says open space, which is fine. And then I'm going to build another up-down stair on top of it, and it lets me do that. And then hopefully somebody will schlep it.
That's the trick there. It's that second one, I guess, that is required, and I never did. So I would say, I have a stairway right there. Why can't you idiots climb it?
So they'll have problems with this tree branch. You can see it's kind of overhanging the wall.
Yeah, I've had that happen before. You cut the tree and it will fix itself.
Take that bad boy down
and give yourself a hole in the ceiling.
Yeah.
When it comes to stairways, you can always imagine them as only going half a block, like half a block down, half a block up. So to reach one block up, you need two stairways because you need one that extends half a block up, and then you need one on top of that also reaches another half a block. So you have the full block, if you get my drift.
The other challenge that I've had to deal with is when you're building the walls, like I've built one block way down here. If you tell it to build a huge long string, sometimes they'll build the very first block in the string and then they can't get to the ones behind it.
I've had that happen too, yeah.
So what I've often...
So then you have to do another stair somewhere else.
Or I just have them build a floor next to the walls that I want to build on the inside, and then they can just do it. And then I've got a walkway up at the top. And sometimes then instead of walls, I'll build fortifications. So in theory, it's just the fortifications are a great place for them to throw their crossbows out at the attacking enemies.
Oh, it has been a long time since we've done an episode about archers. Maybe we're due.
Hey, have we got to the bottom of the archer situation yet?
I have had much more success with archers the last year or so than I had before that. So
there's a whole series on BBC Radio 4 called The Archers. I recommend people check that out if you have questions about it.
You mean this podcast?
I think our British listeners will know what that means. It's this really crazy scenario called The Archers. It's like a drama that's been going for like 50 years, and it's about a farm community, and I'm sorry.
Kind of like General Hospital.
It's god awful. But anyway.
Like General Hospital, right?
Like General Hospital.
On for 50 years, every day.
Yeah, it's the same pablum regurgitated again and again and again and again and again and again.
Cool. Well, thank you for showing me how to do the.
So
I will be trying that with my fortress later today.
And then Roland mentioned in one of our other episodes about wall building that it can often be better to build it as an overhang. So if you do like what I just did, so I'm going back up to the Z level that's the top of my existing wall, and then I'm going one out of that wall of that current wall, and then now I'm going to do it as an overhang, and it seems to prevent you from doing that in our world, but I think dwarven physics, well, we all know, work a bit differently, and so physics
that
in
way
their
you can
world,
make an arch over the river.
You know what? That is a really cool idea. That's awesome. I didn't think about that. You could totally do that. I guess you could do that. Yeah, if you did this from both sides. Oh, that's cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do that. But the good part about that is now it is so much harder to climb your wall because just climbing a straight wall can easily be done. And if somebody is somewhat proficient in climbing, it will be done. But this way, they just get stuck below that overhang and can't really go around. Sometimes they still manage to get around, but then I'm talking about like legendary climbers like cats or something. They can still shuffle around, but your normal goblin will just get stuck and like hang on the wall for like 2 years or something.
So if you create an overhang like that, I want to say cantilever, is that the architectural term for it?
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, if you make an overhang like that, would that be a good place to put your fortifications in that overhang?
I'm not sure if it would generate problems with people trying to climb over or through the fortifications. I'm not certain about that, but
Gotcha.
I can tell you this: they can get shot from below if you do it with fortifications. So I would always suggest doing a double overhang where you have one floor and then the fortifications, so that they can't get shot from below, but they can't shoot out.
Well, I have an in-universe. I have an in-universe question about the overhangs here. So I know that with a diagonal, if you have a empty tile that you've dug out and you put another empty tile diagonal from it, then water will go through there. If you flood your courtyard that has a wall on it and you have an overhang like the one that we were talking about that Tony just built, would water leak through it since it's a diagonal?
Oh, that's a good question.
Oh, that is a good question.
And if the water can leak through it, then I would think that a goblin could leak in it.
Yeah, I can see that happening. I think if you get water physics mixed in, like overhangs and such, they might become less effective because a goblin might be able to swim through, so to say.
No, that's not. I wasn't talking about mixing the goblins and the water. But if water can leak out of it, then I'm afraid that a goblin might be able to enter through that diagonal. Even though
I have yet not seen it.
Okay, cool.
But
cool.
I'm pretty sure they are able to see you, but they can't get through because they never let go of the walls. So the like they still try to get up and like attack you because they can see you, but they never get through.
Do you guys understand when you get these pop-up messages? Occasionally I get these, and this one says, Deller Glodfer has been appointed to the position of diplomat of the roughness of will. I don't know what the roughness of will is. And look, there's all sorts of stuff about the roughness of it. This is the outpost liaison, and this guy's the general, and this person's the baroness of Jewel Terror. All of a sudden, I'm getting all of these updates here.
Hold that thought for a second before we move on from the wall stuff. Ale for 72 mentioned that you can order a 10x1 wall and suspend all but the farthest block, and then unsuspend back 1x1.
You can have a floating wall? Oh no, it'd collapse, wouldn't it?
I think he is talking about the problem when you are building on top of a wall and they just put in the very first stone and then block themselves off from building further. So you suspend everything but the stone that is furthest away from your dwarf's staircase,
and we're talking about suspending, not as in suspending and defying gravity, but suspending the job.
Yeah,
got it. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So anyway, back to your purple text.
Yeah, I don't know. I just got a whole slew of updates saying all these people have become, I mean, it was like 10, 12 in a row here. All these people becoming diplomats and outpost liaisons and barons of all these different places. And so I'm wondering, oh, I see it says my person who's a diplomat and others have returned. So I'd sent somebody out and somebody's become a general and somebody's now a diplomat. Oh, I see.
You
So
sent
they
them out
probably
for an
I sent them
attack
out
or
on a
for a
mission.
diplomatic mission?
No, I sent them out on an attack, and then
Ah.
I don't think they've come back yet. Looks like they're still gone. Oh no, they're
I sent them out
No.
to attack, and they come back as a diplomat. That's not what I
oh
wanted,
no,
guys.
I think they're dead. There's nobody left in the Iron Gauntlets. They're raiding.
Yeah.
Is what they're doing. They're raiding this place, and I don't know. I guess they got a message back with all that information in it. But my dudes are still off on their mission. They're still busy raiding this place up here. Which
Okay.
appears to be a tower. We're gonna die.
So this probably is the rambliest episode that we've ever had.
Oh, by far. No, by far. But to be fair, we were trying something new here, which is
And-
seeing if it's possible to do it like this.
And I think it is, and I think that it works much better for you to do it than me.
Yeah, only from the technical perspective of the bandwidth, I think.
Oh yeah. But that's if you can't see it on the other end, and there's a 5-minute lag, that's pretty
Yep.
tough to deal
You
with.
can't. You can't have that.
Okay, so does anybody else have anything that they want to talk about on today's episode of Dwarf Fortress Roundtable?
Not really.
Do
Going
not
once,
have
going
another
twice.
topic to cover.
I think that I covered everything that I wanted to. I wanted to talk about the stone, the mason workshop changes, the walls, my zombies, and yeah. So, okay. All right. Well,
Yeah.
hope everyone has a good remainder of their week, and for all of you folks out there in podcast land, tune in to us next time. Another episode should drop in 2 weeks. And
Let us know what you thought of our joint playing situation today.
yeah, I'm going to try to probably edit out like I said, anything that
I'm gonna clean it up a little bit. That's fair.
anything that requires a view to make sense of. The only thing I'm afraid of with that is that it will have shifted the focus of the podcast from conversation to group viewing. I don't know that that's a bad thing. We'll just see how it turns out. So
Yeah, let's see what it looks
It
like.
will be
and
all right.
Give it a go. Yeah, could be interesting. Could be terrifying.
okay. So until next time,
All right.
everybody, happy fortressing.
Bye bye.
See ya.
All right. You want to end the live stream there?
Yep.
All right.